Okay, so I'm trying a different video format, but today we're going to talk about the best and the cheapest insurance in South Carolina. So this is actually a topic that came across from Google trending, so it seems to be it's having a little bit of a breakout. Some people are curious and have some questions. So what I did is I'm actually going to share my screen and show you how to find, and I'll also tell you the best and cheapest insurances that I found in South Carolina that might help you guys get some better deals. So when we're looking at car insurance, we're thinking, okay, what exactly are we looking for? Are we looking for towing? Are we looking for road service? Are we just looking for the best coverages? What's our age play a factor? And we're going to dive a little bit into that because there is an age range. So if you're under the age of 25, you're going to pay a higher price. If you're under the age of 50, you're going to pay kind of a mediocre price. 50 is the sweet spot, or 55 until you get to 75, and then it creeps back up. That also is part of, do we have tickets? Tickets do affect it. I call it free money because you really didn't cause anything, but insurance rates that. So it's going to cause the rate to go up if you have had any tickets, and that's just going to be is what it is. You're about 15% in addition to what we're going to look at if you have a speeding ticket. Accidents, those are going to play a factor. We might look some of those up as well. So let's go ahead and share my screen. What I did first is we'll just go to good old Google here, and I'll show you fairly quickly how to pull up your state's website. So it's essentially, if you went to doi.sc.gov, that's going to bring you to your government's website, doi.sc.gov, and that's the Department of Insurance. Now, there's a lot going on here, so what we're going to do is we're going to click on consumers. We can read through it and find it. I'm just going to skip right to the main link. In here, I believe there's like an insurance locator, but that's more for like agencies and stuff. So I've clicked consumers, and on the left bar here at the bottom, or near the bottom, you're going to find one that says, at the top, you're going to find the auto insurance if you're looking for auto insurance. And this is essentially going to give you kind of a research format of learning about how insurance works in your state. So the liability, I'm gonna skip through it, but essentially you guys have a state minimums of $25,000 per person. So if you hurt somebody, you have to carry at least $25,000 to cover their medical, up to $50,000 per accident. So if there's multiple people in the car, it covers $25,000 each person, maxes out at $50,000. They also offer $25,000 property damage that you have to carry. So if you damage their car, their house, whatever you hit, if you damage somebody's property, you're covering that $25,000. The law does require you to carry uninsured motorist coverage equal to the minimum. So what they're saying is 25, 50, 25. That's the way that what we just read looks. 25 per person, 50 per accident, 25 for property. Now, they also have a $200 deductible. You can add that to make it cheaper. Most companies will probably just automatically have it like that. What uninsured motorist is if somebody hits you and they don't have any insurance, now you're covered, or people in your car, because that first limit is for other people. That's not for you. Now you're covering yourself by the uninsured motorist, the 25 a person, 50 per accident. And if they have property, sometimes it's separate, so be careful that they say that. If they have the property, then that's covered up to whatever that limit is. Okay, these are great coverages. Required to offer you underinsured motorist. So if you get hit and they have less insurance, so this 25 and 50 is not recommended. Most states don't even carry it that low. But if it's the only thing you can afford, then it's better to have that than nothing. Typically, you want at least double that, 50 a person, 100 per accident. I personally don't even really work with or have people that are less than half of that. So 100,000 a person, 300,000 an accident, and most clients that I have are actually double that. So it's 250 a person, 500 per accident. I don't want to confuse you, but that's the most common. Play with it. Find out what those are. You're going to try some different ways to find out what's the better fit for you. Now, one thing before we dive in a little bit further, we're going to go over some of those basic coverages. But one thing I would look at, it's an app that I use, or it's a website. I personally, I'm wearing a shirt. They sent me a shirt, but it's a channel sponsor. It's not sponsoring this video. It's just something I thought that you guys would benefit from. But I would personally work with 30 companies at once. It's 100% easier where you can just do one quote with cover. You can go straight to the website, or I'll put the link in the description below. But cover, essentially on my quote, knocked off about $80 a month. So they've got some really competitive options, and they've just recently added to where you can also show different companies. So if you go outside of cover, they're still going to show you the good deals where maybe Progressive was cheaper, and instead of going directly through cover into them, they'll show you those options so you can see those. That's the route I would go. That link is in the description below, but let's go back to this here. So we've got that. If you're going to buy a newer car, it's a nicer car, you need comprehensive and collision. That's what people call full coverage. Comprehensive is theft, vandalism, if you hit a deer, an animal, glass breaks. They call them acts of God, essentially, right? You're not actually colliding with a car. Most of the time, your car's not moving unless you hit an animal. Collision is just covering your car, period. If you're going to have a full value of your car, it's called ACV, actual cash value. Almost every company, unless you're doing an agreed value, now you're looking at like 1972 Mustang and you want the $60,000 coverage of what that value was, right? Most companies don't do that. You're looking at like Haggerty and companies like that. So actual cash value, we're looking at, don't get scared by that. That's just the common word that they use. And the collision is whatever the value of the time of the car is. So if it went down $1,000 over 2 years, then you get $1,000 less for that value. Now I'm also going to share here some snippets I took. So I went on a couple sites. This one's from Bankrate, and this kind of gives you a clear indication if you're not going to go through cover that there's some other options out there for you. Auto Owners was ranked 4.6. I really like Auto Owners. They're actually a really good company. According to JD Power, they were ranked 890 out of 1,000, which is really good. The JD Power is ranking satisfaction of the customer, ease of use, the app, all of it combined, similar to Bankrate, but they're giving them this scoring. The average premium is about $1,342 versus Geico. Geico is a good company. They have a lot more complaints. So when you look at other sites, I did some more research outside of this, and they are going to be cheaper in most cases, but they're going to have a lot more complaints out there as well. Travelers, one of my favorite companies, actually. They're really good to work with. They're just a good company. If you're doing home and auto with them, that's really their sweet spot. If you have home and auto and you're going together, that's going to be the best, but they are cheaper. They got one extra tick on the scoring here over actually less, so they're a little bit lower ranked than JD Power, ranked about the same here. State Farm, I've got tons of videos on this channel. I'll link them everywhere. Check them out. But that's essentially a good company overall, but they tend to creep up in price, right? Progressive is actually ranked pretty low on here, but they are a really good company, and they're good when you have tickets, DUIs, accidents, things like that. So them and Geico don't rank them as heavy, although I do have a comparison between them and Geico. So that's them. I did a local search. So if you guys are looking for kind of like an agency that has that local touch, because the company I work with actually doesn't do South Carolina, so I wanted to give you guys kind of the feel of what we do as well. Once again, you have this versus cover, so if you want the tech, the online, you're going to get a local person that reaches out to you. But if you're more, I want to walk in the door and see somebody, these are the ones you're going to look at. So you got A+, they're 63 reviews, 4.8 ranked. Affordable Insurance, 101 reviews, 4.6. And then Acceptance Insurance was all over the place. There was like a ton of them. So this is like a master company that has multiple. So if you're in a different area, you can probably Google those as well. There was one last photo I want to show you here before I let you guys go, was the cheapest. So this was from Bankrate, NerdWallet, and American National came in almost every single time. Now look at the ranking. They're not amazing, but they're showing some pretty low premiums, some low costs. So American National, Progressive, Geico, Auto Owners, those are really 4 companies that I would start looking at in South Carolina if you're going to go outside of doing that cover where you shop all 30 companies. And let me know what your guys' thoughts are. What have you guys found? What are your questions? Was there something specific that I didn't cover that you want to know? I'd happy to answer them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.